Good morning, Onion Lake Creation. Good morning to Isinawak Onion Lake Creation. I would like to thank you for taking this time. We have been pushing this through the radio. We have been announcing this, and this was something that we were able to get together within the last 48 hours or more. And I'd like to introduce myself, Danse. Nia and Sega Soon Charity Marty Patagan. I'm from Onion Lake Creation, and I'm also a radio announcer for Deskino Radio 102.5 FM. And I would like to introduce the topic that we are discussing today, and I will introduce you to Marmee. And Marmee, I'll have you introduce the title of the conference that you're doing, and to Patrick to if you want to save some words, and then we'll go on to introduce the young ladies that are present in this developing their set skills in journalism and interviewing. So I'm gonna play with the cameras here, and so I'm gonna give you the floor so that way we know what the topic is about. So Dansei Marmee Egwa Patrick.
That's hello everybody. My name is Marmee Moccasin. I come originally from Soto First Nation, but I've made Central Alberta my home for the last 15 years. And I am the co-owner with one of my good friends, Teresa Cardinal. We own Miss Matriarch, who is bringing the She Heals, She Leads conference to Red Deer this coming weekend.
Amba Westeno, Dansa no Agamagantak, Patrick Mitsuing, Tsigason, Makusagagana no Chinia. Miogisiga. My name is Patrick Mitsuing, come to you from Loon Lake, Saskatchewan. We live in Alberta here. Marissa is my wife, and so I own Powwow Times, and I do a lot of the marketing for what's happening for the conference, so just getting the word out there. And then our company, Powwow Times, is hosting a powwow event Saturday night, October 25th at the Red Deer Resort and Casino.
Wow. Yeah. So we're gonna go to my left. We're gonna introduce the lady that's sitting in with us.
Hello, my name is Alexi Bull, and I am from Onion Lake Creation. And actually, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad I made it. You know, Indian time better than no time. But it's really nice to meet you guys, and the powwow times. Like I always see that on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, it's nice to meet the person behind the screen.
Nice.
Danse Sadie Stanley Nasigaso Nigga Wita Gaskusiosa Gaiganikutsinia. My name is Sadie Stanley. I'm from Onion Lake. I'm part of the 7 Gen podcast, and it's nice to meet you guys this morning.
Awesome. Wonderful. So excited to connect with you all.
Tanse, my name is Darcy. I'm with the 7th Gen podcast on as a writer and working on a newsletter. Looking forward to hear from you guys and promoting health and wellness and all of these good things. And it's always good to talk to other professionals, Indigenous professionals, to learn from.
Amazing.
All right. So I would just like to say, like Alexi said, I do watch powwows.com. I always, that's where I get most of my information. And I didn't know who was the founder for that. And I'm very astonished. And, you know, this is a very beautiful feeling of being like, this is nostalgic, you know, and, you know, sharing this and communicating, and it just in my heart, my heart, like I was like, wow, I was wondered who was behind the powwows.com. Like I was just like that. that's the word human quality I could come up with.
I don't think a lot of people know that. Yeah, that it's you know, Indigenous owned and operated. Yeah,
like it brings a face definitely to the person behind that, and I have to say that it's what a wonderful feeling to know that it's someone from Turtle Island, and in here it's Patrick Mitsuing. We don't know how long we're gonna conduct an interview, but I know we have until 12 o'clock. But well, like I said, like we don't know. We're gonna feel this out and ask the questions. So we had a introduction through all of us. I also want to thank the leadership, Fraser Heathen with Onion Lake Seventh Generation podcast. I also like to thank Alrenistas for the KR waves and helping us with the background and music. So when we need to have a break, we're gonna go to music and I just like to thank them and our elders that if you're listening, Gadeyak, thank you for believing in the sixth and seventh generation and the eighth generation has arrived. And I just like to give a big shout out to our elders in Onion Lake, and their prayers are powerful, and they carry us and they bring us back, and they have a revolving door for everyone to come home and to be mentors for the youth of Onion Lake Cree Nation. So is there anything else that you guys want to share before we blast you with questions?
I just want to say I seen you guys online. The seventh generation. I seen the content you guys been pushing out, and very proud of what you guys are doing, and it's pretty cool. Keep it up.
I think a lot of our work is inspired by our youth, and so anytime we get to sit and connect with you, it's such a blessing to be able to do. So thank you so much for welcoming us into your space today.
All right. So we want to start with the top question. We do have them on the paper, and this is the first question we sent to you, and I'll open the floor for the questions because it's the first one, and I thought that was a great way to start this podcast. So this is to both of you. What can you share the story behind the creation of the conference? Like what inspired you?
It's definitely a handful of things, and good and bad. It really did grow from a place of grief. Connecting with my friends and the conversations that I'd have with women. Whether I meet them at powwows or I see them in the grocery store or at work. Even just on social media, there's so many things going on in the world right now, with climate, all these things that are affecting our women and our youth, especially. And, things that are happening, global violence in the world, with Palestine, Sudan, Congo, all of these things. It just felt like there was so much going on. And I wanted to create a space where it felt like a homecoming, like there was a way that we could not just always be in grief, but a place where we were able to celebrate each other and to celebrate with each other and swap notes. And how do I, it's a lot of times in my life, it's always been a woman who helped me take the next step when I couldn't see what that looked like for myself. And so I really wanted to honor that part in my life and the relationships from different mentors, both youth and older than me alike. And I am so thankful that there was so many women and friends that were on board that said, yes, a space like this is absolutely needed. And the cool thing is my husband, he's so great at events. And logistics and things like that. So it worked out to be the perfect recipe, but definitely came from a place of like, I know my sisters need this space to get a refresh. That are the young women who look up to me need a place where they can see older generations loving on each other and supporting each other and encouraging each other and being that example. So it really came from knowing that there was a need, and me, and my partners and the organizing circle for the event, that we we wanted to do our best to try to create that space.
I guess I could add to that. Over the past 4 or 5 years, we've hosted 5 major powwows in Red Deer here in central Alberta, as well as launching the Calgary Stampede powwow. And I grew up in the powwow world. I bought Samoan. My late uncle kind of raised me in the powwow world, and absolutely love, what our culture has given me, in terms of being able to travel and see the world, the people I've met, the life I've been able to give my family because of this culture that we have, this beautiful way of life. And I was listening to my wife over the years, and she's kind of, she's always helped me with my goals and my dreams, my passions, of even deciding to host a powwow. It's such a big endeavor, especially if you're not coming from a nation. You don't have those nation dollars. You're literally starting from scratch with no help, nothing. And to raise a bunch of money and funds and resources to give back to the community and people, it's really fulfilling. And that was my dream, and my wife here helped me along the way. And I kept hearing her. She was evolving as a woman, and she went to a conference in New Zealand to hang out with a lot of powerful women, and you could tell her need was growing, her want and need was growing to help more women. And so I decided to take a break, from hosting a powwow. And, because she helped me so much in my life and my goals and my dreams, I really wanted to help her out in what she wanted to do and kind of shift to kind of her hopes and dreams, because she helped me a lot with everything that I've done in my life. And so this is part of me like wanting to give back to her. I know it's been a long time coming, but I really want to pour into her as much as she's been pouring into me over our last years of, just having a powwow life. So that's kind of my 2 cents into how I'm helping her with her conference here.
Wow, that's really good. And before we go to our next question, when I sit here, I over the time that I've learned a lot of our grassroots teachings and our knowledge and stuff like that. But when you're speaking in that energy of 2 of you sitting there, it's the beginning of a teepee and how you make the teepee a home. And then when you start with the tripod, I'm not sure if you guys have children. We don't. You can share that if you want. But and when we make our home, and when we start from home, it's with 3 teepee poles. It's respect, happiness, and obedience. So when we start with that in that element, everything that we do, it takes us a long way. We become, like I say, like in the old times, we come nomadic with the buffalo. We can take our teepee down and we can go and follow the buffalo to sustain life. So I'm gonna go with the girls here. Who wants to go with the first question? So just put your hands up. Please don't fight. Don't fight, please. All right, we're gonna go with Sadie.
Okay, what does the name She Leads and She Heals mean to you, and why do you think it's such a powerful title?
In my own personal journey in the last, probably since COVID, I'd say, is when I really started to take myself serious, and really ask myself some tough questions, and really started to intentionally work on myself and my healing. It was a lot of it was a lot of messiness at first. It was a lot of really tough questions, a lot of truth that I had to look at myself in the mirror, and just being able to start with myself immediately, both good and bad. When I'm no good, my kids feel it, my husband feels it, anyone around me feels it. When I'm good, everyone feels that as well. And so that healing seeped not only into me, but my parents who are residential school survivors, really learning how to navigate things differently with them, really helped the healing, not just for them, but for me and into my children. And so really recognizing that healing, just even on your own, seeps into everyone around you. And and then naturally, when you're, on that vibration of, I guess, what is the word I'm looking for? The vibration, when you're actively doing it every day, actively healing, actively working on yourself, you naturally find yourself in these positions where people will come to you and say, how did you manage to get through this? How did you figure this out? What did that look like? And so it just felt like those two things came hand in hand, that healing was putting me into those leadership roles and I didn't even recognize that until way after. And I really want the people who come, the women, the participants, I really want them to see themselves in that role of leadership, to that they were able to take these, whatever they learned back home, and really champion a lot of the things that our community needs right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to add on to that, Patrick?
Yeah, I have a philosophy. I believe our philosophy shapes our life. So in a way to break that down, your philosophy is how you see the world. Your philosophy is how you see yourself and believe of yourself. And some of my philosophies I have is, if you want things to get better, you have to become better. Mm-hmm. If you want things to change, you have to change. So it's a way to look at yourself as the answer, because there's more times than not, nobody's going to come save you. And so you got to figure out, doing the hardest part, which is looking in the mirror and looking at yourself and saying, well, sometimes our situation is heavy and hard, but at this moment, what could I do about it right now? And then it puts yourself in the driver's seat of your life a little bit more, to have a little more control, instead of letting the world, circumstances kind of drive where your life is going. You have a little bit more control to be like, well, I'm going to start healing, and that comes with a decision. I'm going to start healing. What does that look like? Who do I need to talk to? What elders do I need to talk to? What ceremony do I need to go to? What book do I need to read? What conference do I need to go to? You start asking yourself these questions, and it leads, to a path of healing. And so when you change, everything changes. When you become better, everything becomes better. And that's a philosophy we hold as a family as well. So it's just perfect that we're trying to, because we're still res kids at heart. Res kids at heart.
It never leaves.
We tell people that all the time.
We met each other in the hood of Saskatoon when we first met each other, and we had a lot of traumas, a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and the way we got ourselves out of that was with these philosophies. And now I think we're just ready to share them with the next generation, share them with the youth. These ideas, philosophies that absolutely changed our lives, have changed the lives of the people we've helped and mentored. And now we just want to get it out in the bigger scale now and help more people.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for that. You guys are doing a really good job, and giving me your own reflections and your insight on yourself, because that's where we start, from within. So we're gonna go to the next question, and I think she's ready for one. This is our future journalist lady. So take it away.
All right. Looking through the speakers' biographies, it kind of becomes abundantly clear that this conference has a very impressive lineup of Indigenous women from across the country and even internationally. All are accomplished in diverse areas of art, dance, law, business, trauma healing, health, education. It goes on. It's incredible. What are some topics that you're most excited to hear about? Any speakers in particular that you're looking forward to?
Each of them has personally inspired my growth in some way or another. and have been like lifelines to me at some point in my life. So all of them I have like a little bit of a personal connection with, and I've also been able to help them on their journeys as well and be able to see a lot of their growth. In particular, I'm really excited for the Resilience Through Loss panel with Melody A. Youngman and Hunt and Janine Morin. I don't think there's enough supports for families that go through, the MMIP crisis. And I think we all know someone, or we all love someone who's, going through this right now. And for them to be able to really give us pointers on how we better support and how we better show up for community and for each other. I'm really excited for that panel. And then our relatives from across the water in New Zealand, they're always so, I always just leave so incredibly inspired anytime I get to be in their presence. And they always challenge me in different ways. And this conference as well, this is new for us. We've never hosted one before. And so I'm doing a lot of I'm learning so much in the process. And I know that all of them, they're going to help me be a better version of myself. And so I'm really excited for that. And then Okalani, she's the Samoan panelist on the climate panel. Her and Jordan, they both do amazing work. But she works with the UN and has these just really incredible accolades for a youth. And I hope that our youth around here are so inspired and can take some of these things from some of the work that they're doing and apply it at home in their communities.
Yeah, for myself, it's hard to pinpoint, one speaker or a few speakers, but we have our local panel and our local youth here, and my wife and I, we mentor a lot of the local youth with another nonprofit that we help out with called the Red Deer Indigenous Dance Troupe.
Mm-hmm.
We have about 150 youth that come out by almost every week to just come in and be in a safe space, learn powwow dancing and learn arts and crafts and learn culture. But one of our youth is speaking to start off the show. And for me, our youth here is like our own kids, and so I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
Her name is Asane. She's going to be speaking, and I'm so looking forward to seeing her growth and being in front of a bunch of women. It must be terrifying for her, but I really feel like she's gonna do good. But she's like one of my kids.
Right, we watched them grow up since they were like little, maybe 7 or 8 we've seen her from, and now she's like a young mother, and all of them are so incredible. Yes, all the panelists are so incredible. But yeah, some of those, our local women, are really the reason that we felt brave enough to even host a conference. Our local women, the way that they embraced our family, just being a young family when we first moved here, and raising our children here, they really embraced us. And it's their love and their guidance and their encouragement and their support that really helped us make this weekend what it is. So very, very thankful for their support always.
Thank you.
All right. So after this next question, because we are very blessed with the media communications and Onion Link Nation, so we do have our listeners on the radio station that are listening to the 7th Generation. So we're going to go with our next question here, and after this question, we will take a break on the airwaves. They're going to play a song, and then we can still chit chat here on the live podcast. So for our listeners, we have to understand the film jargon, and that TV and radio are cousins. Okay, so when we're on live air and the radio, some of our listeners have a short attention span, so we like to accommodate them with some of our Indigenous music. So we're gonna go to the next question here, and I'm gonna let my coworker or my co-host Alright Nastis to go to a song here, and after we're done this next question, we'll go to a quick break so we can use the washroom, whatever. So we're gonna switch our question here, and here's Alexi with her question.
Hello. What is the main goal or focus of this year's gathering?
I hope that they leave not just inspired, but like with some form of direction. That they are able, everyone who is coming knows the need of their community. They know the things that their community is currently struggling with, whether that's, in my own, there's a lot of drugs, it's a lot of violence, different things like that. A couple last month, we just lost a young girl. And so losing our youth, and so all these things are just like heartbreaking. And our hope is that throughout the weekend, the speakers or the panelists, that they our participants will hear something or have a conversation or get something that helps them create or start building whatever needs to happen in their own communities. And that was sort of the thing that happened with me last year when I went to New Zealand, and I got to spend the week with over 200 Indigenous women from all over the world. I knew that we needed to have a safe space together where we were able to just be. We were able to relax. We were able to not worry. We were able to be in each other's presence. We were able just to be ourselves, and just not have to carry anything else for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so that's the goal, is that our women will leave refreshed. They'll feel excited and eager to champion the things that they need to face in their lives. I know that a lot of Indigenous women can relate to the amount that we carry and the weight that we bear. And this is just sort of like a give back as well too, for me personally, for all the women who have given me a safe space to be. There's one, we live in the, I'll just quickly, in the area that we live in, it's a really unique place. If the Blackfoot have been taking care of this land since the beginning. But right now, if you were to look at a map, the river in Red Deer, right behind the building where the conference will take place, it currently connects Treaty 6 and Treaty 7. And one of the stories that I've learned in my little bit of being here over the last 15 years is how tribes used to prepare to go into another tribe's territory. And what they would do is they'd get these bundles or these gifts, and they'd leave it along the water, along the tree line. And they'd know that the next time they come back, if that gift or that bundle was there, then maybe not be a good time to enter. But if it was received and it was taken, then that meant that passage was safe. And that's what the women in this community have been for us and for my children and our family, is they've been, they've shown us that passage was safe. My fears are safe here. They're welcome here. My worry is welcome here. My grief is welcome here. But not just those things, like my joy is their joy. My happiness is their happiness. My success is their success. And so really wanting to be able to give a little bit of that back to women and the community and youth who've given us so much is really the dream.
I don't have much to add to that, so I'll just leave it at that. That was great.
that's where the she leads, she heals, right? So yeah. it happens, it flows naturally. All right. So for our live podcast, we will be staying on live. So we'll keep chatting, and I'm just gonna get a heads up from our my co-host Elroy Nastis for KR Radio to let me know when he's with background music. Oh, I guess we don't have to. Okay, well, you know what? Go ahead, start on the background music.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where even myself, like this floor, and the floor that we are on right now, it's media communications. And so the one thing that I love, I'm gonna ask him to play some background music. Maybe that would help. And so this is something that I'm teaching them, that human quality does happen, and we do say a lot when we're texting, so we don't have dead air.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, so what I like here is like I'm 48 years old. I'm 48, and I had a dream to be a storyteller when I was very young. I was about 5 or 6. So I've been here a long time, and
Amazing.
coming in and working out there in a mainstream of going out there and working with all kinds of ethnicity, all kinds of people. And so being out there and then coming home here, it creates a really comfortable atmosphere for someone who can and bring the children to the door under the film umbrella. So when we have like these things happen, when human quality happens on live podcasts, this is where we bring them to the door. This is where we tell them that it's okay. We don't have to sit real straight, or you just come into a relaxing. You relax like coming into a teepee. When you walk into a teepee, you don't sit there and you don't, you sit there and you be you. And that's something that I'm teaching and helping them and creating awareness that be who you are. Be who you are. So we do have some background music playing, and I'm really thankful for co-host and KR radio station studios that Elroy has the sound for us. So I'm going to give the floor back to the young ladies for their next question. So if you can put your hand up, and then we can go into our next question. All right.
I guess, what do you think participants should be doing to prepare to get the most out of this kind of event or conference? Like, what are some ways that you recommend people to get themselves comfortable and familiar with the topics?
We recognize that some of them are quite heavy, and that that might bring up certain things. And so we tried to create the space where it's where we have like elders nearby. We're gonna have a teepee set up, exactly a teepee. If at any point that there's you maybe need a minute or you might need some extra support. So we've created we've created an area in the building where you can go and do that. Whether that's a smudge or to maybe just sit with a cookum in prayer. But I think that the ask would be that each participant comes with an open heart and an open mind, that they're ready to have their cups filled, that they come with an empty cup, that any information, anything that they hear, anything that they feel, anything that they see or taste that is good for them, that they hold. And we have a couple of movement exercises planned in the schedule. So we're trying to think of like all ways that we can really help support women. We have a cool crew. When you enter the building, we have a cool crew celebrating. So that'll be cute to see. We're trying to go with like Jennifer Hudson's. Have you guys seen her show at all, where they have like a crew of people they're dancing at the door? We were thinking about that. We're like, okay, I don't know. Yeah. But honestly, just like an open heart, and an open mind. And just bring you as you are is what the prayer was.
When early in our journey together, we'd go to conferences basically all over United States. We'd go to Florida, Chicago, Las Vegas, all these conferences, and it was all about personal development. And I remember the MCs always at the beginning of the conference, they would tell the participants to set your intentions. What is your intention in coming to this conference? And so to prepare, participants, if you're listening to this, if you're coming, to set a real good intention of what you want to get out of this. And because what you focus on, your mind always searches for that. If I said today, all you podcast people here, look for a red car. And if your mind is searching for a red car, you're going to see all of them, even though they were there this whole time and your subconscious wasn't picking it up, but because you're focused on it, you're going to see those red cars. So when you set an intention, to your conference, say, like, I want to come out of this with, and this is just an example, like the first steps of how I could heal from XYZ. And your mind is looking for that. You're going to hear all the examples from all these women who are speaking, and you're going to start fulfilling your intention that you went there with. And so I would say, to prepare the participants to have some good, clear intentions of what you want to get out of the conference, because there's a lot of women out there that will be speaking that are going to give you the answers that you've been seeking, the answers you've been looking for. And I think it's an amazing opportunity to get that all in a room full of a lot of wisdom that's going to be shared in that weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll go with our next question. Sadie, we're gonna go with your question, and after Sadie's done with her question and you guys answer, we are gonna take a radio break for our airwaves, and we can still keep talking. I think we could. I'm learning as I go with the podcast. I'm a dinosaur. So we're gonna go with our next question, and you guys answer, and then I'll let Elray when to switch to. We're gonna play 2 songs and give some music medicine to our listeners. So we're gonna go with Sadie with her next question, and then after that on KR 102.5, we are gonna go to a break for a few minutes.
For listeners who haven't heard about it yet, can you explain what She Leads and She Heals is all about?
Yeah. So She Heals, She Leads is a conference put together by a handful of women out of Central Alberta who have just been inspired by the love and support that we've received from the community there. And we really wanted to invite women from all across the world to come and to really experience this communal love that really brews here. And, we're going to start the entire thing off in ceremony. On Thursday, when our delegates arrive, we've invited them to sit in ceremony with us in sweat. And so prior to the conference even starting, we want to just go into the space with good hearts and good minds, and just with the best energy possible, so that the people who are hosting, that our hearts and our minds are just trying to get into the best space possible, so that we really can deliver the impact for our youth and for our families and the community as much as we possibly can. So we still do have a few tickets available, not too many. I don't really know.
Yeah, we're almost sold out already.
Mm-hmm. So I 100% encourage anyone, wherever you are in your life, especially those of you who are hurting and grieving, to come and to be held and to be seen. It's going to be such a magical space, and I hope that we're able to continue with the conference after this year for years to come.
All right. I think that that would take us to the break over the KR airwaves, and while our live stream stays on live, we can continue on, but keep in mind to the people, the young ladies here, when we're sharing media communications, we also have to think of our listeners that are listening to the radio. A lot of them are elders that may not have a Facebook, and so they're used to the old dial on the radio, and they go to KR 102.5. So we'll take a 8-minute break on the airwaves. Elroy is going to introduce the songs to the listeners, and while he does that, I'll tell you the songs that are playing. All right, Elroy, if you're listening, you can go ahead and go on and ask. Go on and play the music, and bring us back, and just give me a 30-second warning of someone, or 45-second warning.
Can we fill up the coffee cup or?
Oh, absolutely. This is where we can take a break if anyone needs to step out of the podcast room, go and have a little health break, and you have actually 7 minutes.
Okay.
Yep, about 7 minutes, because we want to be here when the airwaves are on. So yeah. But while we're on here, do you have any questions that you like to ask just for yourself,
My question is this the first conference that you're hosting in Red Deer?
Yes. Well, okay. So we did do the like with the powwow before. Like we posted 4 powwows. The first 3 were in Red Deer, and then the 4th one last year was in Sylvan Lake. With the powwow, in partnership with a lot of the school divisions nearby. Thank you so much, sis. With a lot of the school divisions nearby, we during the day on the Friday, we would have like a mini sort of conference. I don't know why that keeps doing that. Can you guys see that?
Full of love.
Yeah. I did like a thumbs up, and there was a thumbs up. So I don't know why I guys for you guys. Yeah. So we did the Friday. We would always do like a mini conference sort of for the youth within Central Alberta. So any Indigenous youth from any of the school divisions in the area, we'd always invite them out, and we'd have like a day of fun for them before the weekend started, and then that would kick off the powwow. So we have like some experience, just a little bit, but not anything like in this capacity for more than a day, because that would only been a half day. So this is kind of our first one. The cool thing is like the organizing circle, they kind of, it's really neat because all of us each have such different gifts, and it's just like the perfect recipe. So we have one of our teammates. She hosts the conference at the local college. She's the president of the Indigenous Perspectives Conference, and so she's been able to like help us with a lot of like the logistics too, for like what we would need, what are the busy times where we need extra support, kind of guiding him as well. So yeah, just it feels like like it's like every single person on the team is really like they're like the perfect, their skill is literally the perfect fit for the delivery of the conference. So I'm really, really thankful for that, because I don't know how often that happens.
Awesome. Thank you.
Here's a question. This is a question we were asking. What are the dates for the conference, and where can people find more info about the conference? Are you guys like, another question myself too, I'd like to ask is, so is there limited seating for the conference, or is the TP able to be like built bigger for people who are coming on Indian time or whatever? Like, is there limited seating? I know you have to follow the policies in the building to accommodate so many people because of the fire regulations and stuff like that.
There's definitely room, but like when you're doing a conference, the biggest thing is ordering the amount of food available for people. And so we're just going based on our registrant numbers. And so kind of the challenge would be if like 100 people showed up at the door and we didn't know that they were not pre-registered, do we have enough food to feed everyone? So there will be space. So we did leave, we did usually when you're doing a big planning process for a big event, you kind of think of all these things. And so we've thought about a lot of, what ifs, what if this happens? And so we made room for walk-ins, if people show up at the door with a POS, a Visa card or whatever to pay at the door, that we could accommodate them. So we have about room for an extra 75 people if they just showed up without us knowing that they weren't registered. So that will be able for them. And that was a good help from my brother Nista, Chris Scribe, who runs Think Indigenous Conference. I got to sit down and talk with him and ask him a lot of questions about his conference that he has. So he has like over 1,000 educators always show up to his conference, and so he's been a really good source of information and knowledge for us to know, what we should look out for, the just in cases, the what ifs, and the things that could happen that we might have never thought about.
We're having like the best problems, like yeah, so I'm really
I
thankful.
like that.
Like yesterday, a school division near Rocky Mountain House messaged us, and we're like, we oversee I don't know how many hundreds of students, and because we're on strike right now, this is a great piece for them to still connect and have some type of education. So they're like, we can send all these people, and we're like, oh my god, like I just don't know if we'll have enough to feed everybody. So having the best problems, and also just makes it the learning curve for if this happens again in the future, that we're a lot better prepared.
That's actually really good to bring that up, because like sometimes the way our Indigenous people are, we always like to, like when we want to be there, we want to be there. We want to participate, and a lot of them would just want to go. And I was thinking, like, just to help, because we're going there mostly for the information. These women are knowledge keepers, so we're going there to obtain this information. Not only that, to be there organically, like in an organic meat, because that's where the energy and the teachings, it's like cellular respiration inside of the mitochondria, where we receive and we give and receive and we give. It goes back and forth, and that's why it's always good to keep that organic medicine for our people. So Elray's gonna let us know what time, because we were given like a time frame of when we're going to go back on air, and then the question that Alexi asked, that was actually another question. We want to know if this was the first one, and you we're going to confirm that on air again for our listeners. And so when I was saying about the food part, I was like, if I could, like, and if there was not enough food, I would just like pack my own food and just to participate. And bannock and moose make you strong too, and they'll just give you resilience and carry you the whole day.
Oh my god, you can come for free if all you do is bring bannock and moose meat.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so we have 3 minutes before we go back on the air. This is really good. I'm glad that we're doing the communications using all of our devices to inform the listeners. So with our next question, Alexi, was that the one you wanted to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna give you is, I'm gonna let you know, Alexi, when for myself, because this is why we have headphones. So if you can, sometimes just go into the mic a little, because when you move, your voice fades just a little bit. So, and this is where we train our future leaders, and we let them know so their voices can be clear and loud like ours. So again, like the Indigenous aperture, Indigenous human quality. We live on the turtle, so she has unconditional love for us. So sometimes it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Albert is gonna give me a thumbs up once we are back on live air, and we will mention again about the conference, that this is the first annual conference, and we'll let our listeners know. And like I said, a lot of our indigenous, even myself, sometimes we have technical problems, right? And so we don't want to leave anybody out, and we like to let people know. So that's why we ask these questions, and we'll remind our listeners that this is the first that this was the question that you ask, and it's the first one. So the next one, when we get back on air, we are gonna carry through on our questions, and maybe we can give you guys some time. Like it's 11:05, so we have the floor until 12. However, I don't want to take too much time because when these girls probably have somewhere else to go after, and just to have consideration for time and also for you guys. And so that this is how come we're all communicating here. We're accommodating all sorts of listeners. And as I said before, no one person are the same. Everybody is a snowflake. There's no same snowflake. So we and that's the grassroots. That's the grassroots where we spread our wings out. We put our ears all over the turtle. So because people want to engage and people want to see, and not only that, I know that our up and coming media crew is going to grow even more. So in 30 seconds, we'll be back live on air. And so we're gonna have the next question. Who's gonna have the next question?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I can.
Okay, Darcy's gonna come on, and we're gonna go live in 30 seconds
The
on
last
KR.
question, the topic of the last question was what again? I don't remember.
That one was okay. That one is just like All right. So let's see here. The last question. Here you go. It's number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think we might be on air. Elway will confirm. Before you ask the question, I'll just carry over the question from the podcast to the listeners of them wondering and us asking questions for them. So we're just waiting for that. Elray, if you can give me a thumbs up. All right, we are back on air. If you're listening to Kiteskino Airwaves 102.5, you are with your host, Miss Marty. And in the station, we have Darcy, we have Sadie, and we have Alexi. And we have 2 wonderful people in our presence and graced us with their presence. Patrick Mitsuing and his lovely lady, Marmee Moccasin. So before we go to our next question, while we were off the airwaves, there was a question that Alexi had for Marmee and Patrick. So the question was, is this the first conference? And the answer is yes. This is the first conference that they are spearheading. And so with that being said, thank you, Elroy. While we were off air, we were listening to Love by Kevin Yazzie and Alex E. Smith.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to Darcy.
You mentioned in the beginning your advocacy for Palestine, of which I'd like to thank you. It is incredibly courageous to speak truth to power. There is never an excuse for genocide. And it's something that Palestinian women have in common with Indigenous women, is our struggles with the totality of the weight that we carry. So with that in mind, as Indigenous women, we face strong and sometimes frightening bigotry. What words do you have for Indigenous women who might be struggling to keep their pride in the face of rising hate?
That's a beautiful question, and I really don't want to. I don't want to mess it up. I think that, I guess, first then I guess is I see you, and just to remind each of us, that we come from the most beautiful people, our warriors, matriarchs, medicine men, medicine women, and that we are the answer, their prayers is us. We are the, and you guys, what you youth are doing right now, delivering truth and learning these skills to be truth tellers and storytellers. That you know this is that's such a beautiful question. Just I guess our prayer is that man,
Mhm.
yeah, that's this the conference started a lot because it was so tough to go onto social media and see that every day. As a mother, as parents, to go see a lot of that, and it still continues. What is the collective answer for all of us? How do we help outside of just the financial stuff? What else can we do? And so when I said that that it came from a place of grief, it came from the worry of that, and it was so hard for us to even share anything. It's so hard for me to personally share any good thing in my life, knowing that women and children, these things are happening all over the world. And that this was the answer to that space, to that this space could be the answer. What I don't know the answer on my own, but I know with several minds and several hearts and women from different tribes, we collectively are the answer. We're the answer to everything that's going on in the world right now. Our ways, our people, our language, all of it, everything, every part of it. We are the collective answer to every problem that the world is facing right now. And I hope that we are reminded of that this weekend, of our power and how we're able to really, that change starts here, but it can reach other parts of the world. It can reach our love, our energy, the way that we heal, the way everything, it can reach into those spaces. And our existence is resistance, and it's also joy, and joy is something that they can't take from us. And so I hope that answered your question. Thank you for that really beautiful question.
Thank you.
Wow, that is a good question. Thank you, Darcy. This young lady naturally found her gift at such a young age, and she's very she documents well. She asks her questions well. The other ones that are sitting here with me are here because they wanted to be here. They showed interest in being here, and this is our reality. This is our reality to ask these tough questions. So thank you for that. Is there any other ladies? Anyone have a question to ask that just wants to pounce out of your heart?
Mhm.
Nothing right now?
I do have a question, but it's like kind of off topic.
That's fine.
Okay. Um, how did like joining the Power Circle? How did it navigate your life? Because I know both of you guys dance powwow.
Yeah, I always tell the story of how Palo kind of came to my life. I'll try to tell it quickly and kind of how it shaped me. But I didn't grow up with my mom and dad, and so I was really lucky to land with your aunties and uncles sometimes step in to become mom and dad. And my uncle was real traditional man. Looking back, I was so blessed that I got to live with this family, and because of how traditional they were. First time in my life, I was 8 years old. I was going to sweat lodge, Sundance, round dance, like all our ceremonies. I was hearing our language being spoken. And in the summertime, it was powwow season. And it's something I really look forward to. I really looked up to my brother Nathan, who was a grass dancer. And I remember going to a powwow and hearing the crowd cheer at the arbor, and I was really curious of what the commotion was. and I ran there as fast as I could. And to me, when I got there, was like time slowed down. There was these guys dancing, and it was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life at that moment. And I said, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to do that one day. And I ran back to my camp, and I was so excited to my uncle, and I was hyperventilating. I was like, there's these dancers, and they're spinning around, and they're doing these kicks about. And he's like, son, settle down. That's men's fancy dancing. And I said, I want to do that. And I had an instant connection with it, that something about it was like a calling to me. And, when I grew up, I was on my own now, 16 years old in Saskatoon. And I didn't vibe well with, school other than sports. I really love sports. And then when I graduated, I really felt like I didn't want to go and pursue a degree and pursue something other than my culture, because I felt like anything I was doing was taking me away from my culture, my ceremony, being Indigenous, and I think it's really hard to be Indigenous nowadays, because you can't just focus on that, right? You have to go and get a career. You have to go get a job to pay for bills and I was like, no, I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out where we could just do culture 24/7. I just want to be Indigenous. I just want to dance. I just want to learn my language. I want to go to culture events and be immersed in our way of life, and not have to go check in at a job where I have to go work for 8 hours away from my culture, then come back and learn my culture. I didn't want that. And then, powwow became a base for that. Like, okay, if I could figure out how to do this full time, then my family could just be immersed in culture, and we could just travel, and we can meet elders from all over Turtle Island, and we could learn cultures from different nations. And that's where I got into what you guys are doing, a lot of the media. And I realized, man, this might be a way to just be in culture full time if I just document culture and share culture and blog about it and make videos about it. And sure enough, it led us to a foundation where that's all we do. Every single day is Indigenous culture in this house and our way of life. And it's either powwow, ceremony, community, arts and crafts, everything that's involved with our culture that's how we live every single day for the last, 10, 12 years. And so I'm really glad we figured it out, and powwow has been that main driver as a base for us it's been my university anyway, where I've met so many people, I've sat with so many elders, so many knowledge keepers, so many powwow singers, and everything. And I'm very grateful for our way of life that we've built for our family.
Mm-hmm. And my story is slightly different. Both my parents are Indian residential school survivors, and that kind of led my mom to be a single mom of 5, and she did not take us. We didn't grow up with language or song or dance or anything around ceremony at all. We actually grew up in the church, and it wasn't until I connected with Patrick later on in my life, in the beginning when we started to date. That was the first time that I went to a powwow full from the very beginning to the very end, was when I went with Patrick for the first time. And my journey looks slightly different in dancing. I never really, I always just thought it was so beautiful, especially the women's traditional. I did start off in a different category. And then I quit for a handful of years. And then just in the last few years, really working on my relationship with my parents after the announcement of the 215 in Kamloops. It really opened up and created an avenue for me and my parents to really do the healing work together. I'm very fortunate enough to be in a place where I was able to take care of them and to really go through a lot of those motions with them, and a lot of the healing work and a lot of the love that this community has given me really prepared me for that. And one of the things that it really did was help me learn how to create space. So, for my parents, creating space of safety, your story, the things that you tell me is safe here. Not only do I believe you, but I'm so thankful that you made it up from that time to this. That was the first time in my life that they'd shared some of their experiences with us, and it broke our hearts. And so that led me down kind of this like path of who are the people that I come from. And it was I did my own Google research, and then on Pinterest, these Cree women would show up, and they would always have their babies on their backs. And it was across tribes. Every woman in tribes in America, the East, the West, everywhere, the women always had the babies on their backs. And that moment in time really challenged me to become the best relative I could be. And that time with my parents and that learning with them, what came of it was my commitment to my mom and my dad. Like, thank you so much for everything that you had to endure to get here. My promise to myself and my commitment to you is that no matter what, I'm going to do the best I can to be the best Nehio Squirrel, the best relative that I can.
Sorry.
And when I was looking at those photos and I seen the babies on their back, my baby was in my belly, I was like, I'm going to do everything with him. I'm going to be the best relative that I can be, starting with being a mom and a partner and showing up differently. And that really transformed sort of my idea and of what dance and what I am, who I am. And so a couple of years ago, I there was a special in Sixica, and it was a purple dress special, and I had a dress out, and my mother-in-law danced for the first time, and I was like, oh my goodness. And that was the first time in my life that I was like, I want to go out there, and felt comfortable and not nervous and not shy and not talking myself out of it. And I danced with a cradle board, and it took on a life of its own. And it was such a beautiful thing to have women come up to me, and women and men, who would share their stories with me and talk about the energy and just such a beautiful thing. So my dance journey, it was very different, and it's really beautiful because I was really able to find my own self in the circle. And that was also the reason that we did host powwows, was because we wanted to give back. We wanted to give back to powwow community and just say thank you for everything that it's given me and my family, and the way that it's led us, and what it's given to us even now. So yeah, very, very thankful for powwow and dance, song, and then we make that our everyday life now too. Like, even with my position here in Red Deer, I am the program coordinator for the Red Deer Indigenous Dance Troupe, and we just get to invite knowledge keepers and elders out and to teach us about anything that we have questions about. It's really community led, so we ask community, what do you want to learn? So we bring out different facilitators for moss bags, for quill work, for bead work, for feather work. Like, it's really so we're really able to live this way as well. So very, very thankful for powwow and what it's done for us, and how it's brought so much joy into our lives.
Wow. I'm a very good listener, and when you speak about being a life giver, and being a life giver is something that we take on for the rest of our lives. Even if we conceive and the baby doesn't come through and something happens, we are still life givers because we produce that, that little baby. And so my reflection on that, with that, is it really moved me as a mother, because my oldest son, when you spoke about your child, the way you spoken my relative, I'm going to be his relative or her relative. I got a lump in my throat. I got kind of teary eyed and stuff like that. Because like I have my oldest son who is 30, and when he came to this world, like you were when you're speaking, that is something that we take and we lead the path for them. Just like what you said, you're heading, she leads and she heals. So my son, I Waka gave him to me on my birthday. So we have the same birthday.
That's beautiful.
And he also went to the same university as I went to for film school. We went together.
That's
So it is. So it just made me emotional. But that's just my personal reflection there as a mother myself. Um, so what I'd like to do is ask the other girls if they have a question, because before we wrap it up, I do want to, for myself, to awaken our young ladies here. There's something that has caught my attention and of one of your speakers, and I would like to highlight that towards the end of our discussion, because I believe that this is part of the grassroots movements. This is where we become independent, like the turtle, because a lot of us, no to go otayogan. That's the grandmother spirit. And so one of your presenters that I would like to highlight in this podcast to awaken the seventh generation, that yes, we are all interested in media and communications, but sometimes our grassroots, where we could wear like many hats. So there's a subject there in one of your presenters that I would like to talk about before we wrap it up. This has been really wonderful. We are getting a response. We also got response from KR Radio that showed interest in your guys' conference, and so we're able to see the feed on that and people wanting to attend, because we can't leave out our dinosaur listeners. We have to, get everybody out there. We can't leave out no one. No one's left behind. No one is left behind. Everyone has to tune in. So with that, I'm going to ask the ladies, is there something else you guys want to ask before we touch a subject on some of the presenters?
Sure. I guess in the interest of learning respectful media practices, because in this time and day and age with social media, also, I've been noticing a lot of a little sketchy practices relating to journalism. So, what are some do's and don'ts that you would like to let media workers know? How to be respectful, how to be unobtrusive, that sort of thing.
Mhm. Yeah. I think there's a guy I've studied for years on leadership, and it's called the law of the lid. And the law of the lid means, in any organization, there's going to be a leader, and the organization can't get past that lid of that leader that's leading the way. And so, as a good leader, um, our one of our speakers, Melody Hunter, has a powwow called Lead by Example. And so within your guys' organization, I'm sure there's a leader that stands out, that kind of, comes up with the ideas, comes up with the philosophy, the leadership of your organization. And so for us, what any kind of media we put out, as a leader, we have the philosophy of always providing value and helping people. And I think that's been the base of a lot of stuff we do when it comes to hosting a powwow, hosting this conference, the CRE program that we have, anything that we put out, is it value-based? Does it help people? And so that, because of the leadership we have, I think everyone else that is posting content within our sphere, our influence, recognizes, the philosophy of what a Powell Times post looks like, or a video, or things, and I know there's things that we can't control sometimes, like, the comments that that go on our socials. You know, sometimes we're live streaming events, like how you guys live stream events. We can't control what the MC says, but we try to mitigate things as much as we could. You know, and as a growing team, you're gonna get that feeling of you know how to what do you call it when there's someone who could you know, delete stuff and make sure that things are in line with your vision and your mission. And so I think it really comes down to the leadership, you know, who's leading the path. And it, what was that Dakota about the buffalo that goes first, you know, that leader.
Oh, that's
There's a
Tukala.
That's so like in any herd of buffalo, you'll see that one lead buffalo go ahead. And the reason why is that buffalo is going to take all of the things for the rest of the herd to go through. And me and Marissa had to be that for a lot of the stuff that we've done, because we like to try be innovative. You know, we like to try do things that have never been done. And we get a lot of hate and a lot of backlash to us. And we'll take it, because we're that lead buffalo, so our team doesn't have to take on that. And so that leadership has to be courageous, has to be tough, but also know when to heal from all of that, so everyone else could flourish. And I think that's kind of a big philosophy we've taken a lot of times.
And also wanting to encourage you guys, this younger generation is so much better. Like, you guys are incredible. You guys are so much better at recognizing the truth in things. And there's a bravery that I see in your generation that's not in mine, that's not in my parents, that's not in my grandparents. And I encourage you guys to continue to tell to tell the truth no matter what, to really look for those stories and to really be our truth tellers, to really stand up and fight for what's right. And you know, one of the things in the conference and why we wanted to bring it is because we recognize we have no time. We have no time to play when it comes to climate, when it comes to the healing that needs to happen in our community and with our children. And you guys are the lead in that. So I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so excited. Like when your lead here told us that it's going to be a team of youth, we just thought that was such a beautiful thing. And it's, you know, you guys are the ones that are going to take the future is you know, and so very, very proud of you guys. Very thankful that you guys have such strength that we don't possess yet. And I hope that each of you guys continue to seek out truth, continue to seek out those stories, continue to share. Whatever that looks like, we're rooting for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was really good. I really like the Italian flow we had in here. Recognizing other ethnicities. All right. So if we do have one more question, before we forget, I've in my heart, being a grassroots advocate and knowledge keeper and stuff like that, like the stories. We touched up on some really good questions. We're all here to learn. So this is something that for overall, for my nation, for Aik Sagaigan, you know, and I because I speak trilingual languages, I find that it's easier when I describe my nation, and I will share. The way when I talk about Onion Lake, I actually use my mother tongue, and that my mother tongue is Nakota. And when I describe my nation at home when I pray or whatever, or talking to someone else, they'll understand me. But in Nakota, where I come from, the new blood to Onion Lake Cree Nation is Shija Nanam Mini. That's how you say Onion Lake. Shija Nanam Mini. So yes, and so Pinawinchiabi and Nukanagane Shijana Namani. We have five white buffalo that sit at the south. And they brought their blessings to our people, and we are sharing our stories because we are the the four parts of the medicine wheel. So we all procreate and we make new blood. So we're going there procreating. This is where I like to stay on topic. I have here in front of me. I don't know if I can present it on a screen, but I seen this a while back, and it was on social media, and it was on a news feed. And this is so important. This is so important for all of our women to also. Yes, it's good, in the media and telling stories and creating our own storytelling world and creating our own storyboards. But there's one thing that we can't forget. There's one thing that's so pivotal to our people, and one of the presenters that I saw that you have at your conference, okay, I saw this on my news feed, and I'm going to tell you that Wakpanimbi, that means it gave me hope in the Nakota language, because we have you guys have one of the ladies that brought it to Kihiwan. Okay, and this lady, I saw it, and it made me grateful. Opiginabi, that's how we say it in Nakota. It made me grateful because she came through and she brought her training from her heart, and she delivered a baby in Kihiwan. Okay, and this is something that was celebrated, and it made a lot of women emotional.
Yes.
So her name is Jody Gadwa. And motherhood is a sacred responsibility, a living practice of resilience, nurturing and ancestral wisdom passed through each generation. Jodi Gadwa Cardinal is a Nehiwea school from Treaty 6 territory in Kihiwan Cree Nation. She has been with her life partner, Gray Eagle, for 20 years plus, and is a mother of Odessa, Windy Boy, and Oksana. Jody holds a Bachelor of Indigenous Social Work degree from Blue Quills University. This fall, Jody will be furthering her education in the Master of Social Work program. Jody is also enrolled in the NICM National Indigenous Council of Midwives program, which is led by all Indigenous midwives across Canada. Jody currently works as a Wichitasil birth support worker and doula at Kihiwan Health Services in Kihiwan Cree Nation. Jody walks along families, offering emotional and mental, physical, and cultural support through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. Jody is honored to have been asked to be part of the She Heals and Leads conference. And that right there is something that we have to retain and sustain, because when we have these babies born, we have access to their placenta. We take that placenta and we give it back to Gigawi Nowaski. We give it back. And the umbilical cord we keep. Mothers are asking, where do we put them? Where do we put them? Well, for as a woman, our smudge that we are allowed to use by Mamo Dawinan, like Waka Ade. This horse sage is the one smudge that women are allowed to use every month. Every month, even when the moon time comes, and that horse sage, it clears negative energy. And putting your baby's umbilical cord with that helps your child. It also clears the path for them to face when they're facing discrimination, racism, all these things. So this is something that I want to commend these women across Gigawi Nowaski, Miskanak, for being that lead and reviving and doing restorative justice to our spirit. So that's something that I wanted to bring out. There's so much to cover and so little time, but you have a lot of amazing ladies that are going to be showing up, and there's one, Miss Montana. She's from Frog Lake. I didn't know about her until I saw the conference. I myself live in Frog Lake, Aiksagaigan, Gisagao, east, the very east of Frog Lake. So these are things that we also have to remind. Yes, it's good to become a journalist. Yes, it's good to become a storyteller. Yes, but we can't forget who we are and where we come from, because that's how we know where we're going. So I'm gonna ask the ladies, all of them. I think everyone wants to go have a bannock sandwich or something. I don't know, but I don't know if there's anything else any last words for this interview. Okay, Sadie.
It's sort of a question, but what message would you like every woman and young person listening today to take away from this?
You, in the way that you are, in all your perfection, is enough, is more than enough to create change, not just in here, in your community, but globally. And I hope that you continue to find people in the community that really remind you of that all the time. I am so thankful for this space and my time with you guys today. And you guys just give me so much hope.
Mhm.
Is there anything else anyone wants to add?
No, I guess for listeners at home, where can people learn to more about like your website, where to register, what the days are, that sort of thing?
That's you. I don't know. This is different from what I'm.
Yeah, it says it on the screen here. She Leads, She Heals. So if you go to www.sheleadssheheals.com, it'll have our full agenda on there, tickets, how to get tickets. Our speaker lineup is all on there. Everything should be on there. You could check out our powatimes.ca website, our Powatimes social media as well, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, that's where we house a lot of our information there. And I believe if you go to the website, the sheleadssheheals.com, and put your email in there, like you're going to make a purchase, but you don't make a purchase, you also get part of our email newsletter. And so we're going to be sending out a link for live stream. So if you can't make it, you could be at home and still watch all the speakers, but the only way to get that info would be to sign up your email as if you're going to make a purchase. So we have about 1,300 women that are part of the newsletter. So we'll be sending out the live stream link for that probably tomorrow. And that's one of the things that we love doing is live streaming, because one of the biggest comments we get is there's a lot of people who can't make the powwows, but they're so happy that there's the live stream because they're either can't travel or they're in a hospital or whatever situation it is, and they still get to enjoy it and be part of it as well. So that's something we'll be providing for the women.
Amazing. Thank you.
Hi.
So I'm thinking that I feel that it's time to wrap up. Thank you for working with our schedules, because I know that as media communications and when you're doing post-production stuff, sometimes we're able to wing it and make that time to promote the conference and utilizing wonderful people, Tapoy Mr. Hegamiasen, and to be able to do this in such a short time. This is welcome to media, guys, girls. We go on, that's why we just go on what we have. So big thank you to the seventh generation panel. We are utilizing the podcast to bring the teachings of the pre-Wiolek star constellations, and the elder that did all the work for us was is Wilford Buck. So we're going to be utilizing the podcast, and we're going to bring in the Cree to identify. And for the interview, I want to give a big thanks to Fraser for giving me a crash course on the cast. This is my first one.
Nice.
Also, to like I can say so many names. Fraser has a great team of seventh generation. We don't just sit here and talk. We actually go over all over our reserve and we bring it to the screen. Thanks to El Renestas, I was pulled out of retirement to come work for my nation. So I don't know. I don't know what day it was. I don't know if it was the second or I don't know what day, but I was given this task to get a hold of you guys and get this set up quickly by my co-host Al Renestas. And I want to thank him because he knows. Give me a task and I'll do my best.
Mhm.
Give me a task and I'll do my best. And we're gonna roll with the buffalo punches. So all right. So I'm gonna go to each camera. These are our youth. This is not all of them. These are a few of the young generation that we are working with. I'm thankful for them that they came in and were able to take part in this. There is some questions on there. I believe we covered them all. Like who are the matriarchs that lead them in their lives, and you guys did touch up on that. Thank you for the questions, Jade Tatusis. Thank you, Amanda. Everyone that's listening. So I think with that being said, is there anything else that you guys have for our listeners, our KR listeners? Now that we know who owns powwows.com or the founder for it, we know who is the lady who's spearheading this conference. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything that you have for our community members at the community level and also on podcast mainstream?
Mhm. No, I just want to thank you for listening. Taking, time is so valuable, and if you took some of your time to, watch this and listen to this, get that dummy in. Really appreciate you. And for those out there who are, struggling, going through something, we're thinking of you, and you're always in our prayers, and when we go to ceremony, and hope you get through it, and that you have a team of people cheering you on, which is our people. We want you to succeed. We want you guys to feel some sort of peace in your life. So, and to the young ones here that are learning the podcast and stuff, that's awesome. Fail forward, fail.
Line that I was gonna
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Just it's 100% okay to make mistakes, to not know what it is you're doing, and just make mistakes as you go. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. And all of that is going to be good experience for you to look back, because one day you'll be in our spots, and you'll be talking to the younger generation after that and giving them advice. But it's never a straight path. It's never a straight path. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be challenges. But I feel like all of those that come is a lesson for you to grow, and a lesson for you to learn to become the person you are meant to become on the journey you're going to. So that's
so he stole my line and everything. I'm so inspired and encouraged every single time I get to sit with women younger, more experienced than me. I'm always I just so love and value and appreciate this time. And I just wanted to say thank you all for challenging me today, making me think and contributing to my growth. I'm so honored to be able to sit with each of you. I hope that, in the future that there's still room for partnerships. And I hope to maybe next year, you young ones are on the panel that come, and you guys are telling the truths and stories. And I'm just rooting for you guys. And also to your lead, thank you so much for really nurturing these young, beautiful minds. What a gift. And this is what the conference is about, is really coming together and supporting and encouraging each other and creating these spaces where we're able to be really who we are. And I'm just so thankful that we had the opportunity to do this today. And I look forward to, future connection and collaboration with each of you. So thank you so much. My heart is so full. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hey.
So I guess this is it. We know that we are creating a networking world for our seventh generation at with Jessica Silsagaigan.
Mhm.
I just
So-
wanted to say thank you for answering my questions, the questions that I've had, and also thank you for your work. Powwow times, my grandparents at home always watch powwows when I'm away. And
Awesome.
sometimes they'll see me on there and then they'll be like, I saw you, I saw you. You're on TV."
Yeah, that's amazing. Awesome. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Hi, hi.
Good, good. Thank you. Yeah. Doksha. Hi, hi.
All right. I think we're
Gotcha.
done.
Yep.
All right. And Sadie, you want to say anything?
Thank you guys. You guys are incredible, and you guys are good role models for everyone else out there. And thank you for your time today. Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, existence is resistance for sure. That's been a line that I've been holding on to since I was 18. So it's good to be reminded again. Thank you.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
All right.
Huge fan of all of you.
Thank you for your time. And my stas.
Wait, so-
My
Take
sus.
care, guys. See you soon.
What's this?
Okay, so are we off now?
I think we are end stream. I'm going to press here. See if that end stream it
Play the outro.
says. Where do we go?
So you press it again.
Okay.
And then just go down.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.